The fireside chat will be with a Bollywood twist. OOH's question to media agencies. Hum Aapke Hain Kaun? Please join me in welcoming onto stage Mr. Vikram Sakhuja, Group CEO, Madison Media. Loud round of applause. Across board, let's put our hands together. And anchoring this chat with Mr. Sakhuja is Mr. Rajiv Raghunath. Welcome. Ladies and gentlemen, join me in welcoming onto stage our two panelists. Welcome. Looking forward to this fireside chat.
Thank you, Kisha, and lovely to see you again. Well, when I was growing up, I had some wild imaginations of being connected with cinema and all of that. But this is really the closest that I've ever got to anything filmy. Hum Aapke Hain Kaun? Wonderful to have you here and an opportunity to engage with you on this particular subject. But a big disclaimer I have to share, because if I'm going to be saying Hum Aapke Hain Kaun, that's not me, because I don't do OH business. I'm going to be speaking on behalf of the large number of people who are gathered here, and of also all those people who are manfully doing OH business across the country.
Wonderful. Absolutely brilliant to be here.
Thank you. Vikram, of all the traditional media, if you were to look at OH, the belief is that this is one media channel that is primed to ride the crest of a technological upheaval. We are beginning to see this going beyond static displays towards more interactive, targeted, personalized experiences being delivered. OH is becoming increasingly more data-driven and dynamic. When we talk about OH, we have to keep in view the entire universe, which includes roadside media, as well as all the controlled environments in which OH is being done. Yet, if I were to speak on behalf of the industry with whom I've had some wonderful exchanges over many years, there is a general view that the mainline agencies may not be viewing the OH in similar light, keeping in view the way OH is really unfolding in all its resplendence. So I would like to have your view on how, when this industry asks you this question, Hum Aapke Hain Kaun, how would you like to respond to that?
Okay, you started off with the technology piece, so I'll start with that and then I'll get on to Hum Aapke Hain Kaun. Technology is here, it's everywhere. I mean, this is the age of AI, this is the age of platforms, and it's not right to say all traditional media. I think just about every touch point. Now, I think we started looking at things like what? Video, sound, image, text, experience. Each one of these has an analog and a digital component to it. And of course, the digital component has data underlying it, which allows you to do so much more. But point that yes, if I have to look at video, for example, just normal advertising that used to be, say, on a TV, now you've got about a 60%, 65% is on TV, 35% is coming on the digital thing. If I have to look at outdoor, I'd be surprised if that number is more than, it'll be probably 90, 10 or even lower. It'll be probably 93, 94, 6. Which takes us to the topic, Hum Aapke Hain Kaun? Look, any media owner and agency, the relationship has been going on for a long time. It's been, I mean, since at least 60 years of marketing in India, it's there, it's always there. I think at the essence of any Hum Aapke Hain Kaun question relationship is, there are two things: money and respect. Now, actually, all told, money is not too bad. If I have to look last 2-3 years, the kind of growth that out of home has had in terms of billing growth has been much more than, say, TV or print or radio or any of those. So it's almost on par or thereabouts with the digital. So the money is coming. So that way, Hum Aapke Hain Kaun, money is there. Respect. Now let's talk about that. Since it's filmy, I'll also give you a filmy analogy. Lovely movie called Vicky Donor. In Vicky Donor has a chacha. The gentleman is a little bit of a loser kind of a character. He has a modest kapde ki dukaan. So he obviously feels it because he goes up to his mother and says, Biji, mainu koi respect nahi karta. Nobody respects me. So her answer was very wise. She said, बच्चे, रिस्पेक्ट कपड़ा या किसी और चीज़ बेचने से नहीं आती, रिस्पेक्ट अपने काम से आती है. Pause for effect. काम से आती है. The part which we need to talk about, if respect is the thing that people out here are looking for, and we'll also then quantify what respect means in the context of a business transaction. I would say जो काम से जो respect आएगी, that is defined by the narrative that the media owners need to drive. Google, Meta, now Amazon. I mean, they weren't even on the radar 10 years back as far as advertising was concerned. The way those guys have come in and run the narrative, they've completely changed the concept of advertising. Just look at it this way. In TV, we used to do what? We used to take an ad spot on क्योंकि हम आपके हैं कौन, नहीं क्योंकि सास भी कभी बहू थी, or it would be on Anupama today. But you take a spot in a program and aggregate audiences around it. YouTube completely changed the narrative and said, you tell me who's the audience that you want to go to, and wherever they are, I'll place my ad there. They've completely changed the narrative. Now, like that, Meta has come in and said the entire narrative is, I know what people are interested in. That's really what matters. So at that point in time, when people are really interested in something, and if you can engage with them there, that's where I can help you. They change the narrative. Now, what's the narrative out of home is doing right now? I don't think that narrative has changed. So if you're saying, in the past also it used to be come by my site, it's now, how can it be a site level conversation if you want to talk the bigger picture of how you're building a brand? Finally, yes, we put together a plan, take it to a client, it's costed, and we do it. Take even the digital out of home. What's the narrative currently which is being placed out on digital out of home? Fact is that if you go to, well, one is within our agencies, we don't have programmatic teams inside the outdoor teams. So they are still pretty much buying it as they would do a reservation buy. So they are negotiating a rate, going to a media owner, the media owner has got his own playout, and he's actually putting out the ad into a loop, and that's how you're doing it. But it's not coming through an SSP, DSP, through real-time bidding, and we're not getting any reach frequency measurements, we aren't getting any third-party monitoring. It's not like that. So but what is the narrative you want to spin? So at this point in time, I'll wait for your follow-up question to this. But हम आपके हैं कौन? The answer I'm flipping back to you. हम आपके वो बनेंगे जब आप हमें नैरेटिव के साथ आओगे. अगर आप बोलोगे कि साइट पे खरीदनी है, हम बोलेंगे खरीद लेंगे. अगर आपको एक मेरा डिजिटल आउट ऑफ होम में लूप चाहिए, हाँ खरीद लेंगे. But if you change the narrative, then we can have some more fun.
Thank you, Vikram. I would like to come back to you on the narrative aspect, which is a very important one. But before that, I would like to also get back to the subject of the size of this industry. Now, according to the Madison report, that was estimated to be 4,650 crore rupees. For 4,650 crore rupees was the estimated size of OH business. That number, maybe different estimates could give us, but it will be broadly in that particular range. Help us understand one aspect is that whatever said and done, there is a certain amount of traction that is bringing this kind of spends to this medium. Could you tell us what are the dynamics that are contributing to this incremental growth that is one happening? Secondly, what are the aspects that are actually making a certain set of brands to believe in OH? Maybe that can become the setting ground for the industry to work on. Maybe your thoughts on that would help.
Okay. The interesting thing, and I've actually tracked it over time, since the mid-80s to now, it's quite crazy, but out of home as a share of ADEX has been pretty flat at about 6%.
Correct.
1920 COVID, 2021 COVID happened, and of course it came crashing down. After that, it's now gone up, and it didn't come back to 6, it came back to about 4, and now maybe it's hovering around 5 because it's growing faster than the rest of the industry. Will it go up again back to 6? I think it will. This, to my mind, is happening without any effort. But let's for a moment get
Vikram, if you can tell us what is actually going in favor of OH in helping even this incremental growth or for brands to be participating in OH. And this, it's not a situation where this is becoming an absolutely a redundant media channel, right? That's not the case. There are media streams whose future is now seriously being questioned. But I don't think OH is facing that kind of a dilemma where its very existence is being called to question. That said, help us understand what is actually driving this incremental growth even, so that we know that we can do these 10 things and expand it by 2x, 3x, or whatever that is.
The heart of marketing for any brand is you've got to dial up 3 things: attention, memory structures about the brand, and response. Apurva Bhai in the last presentation showed a road roller on a hoarding. This was something which our team had done. It was very nice to see that. Stuck out there and then says, whatever, it was an araldite ka jod. Now that, to my mind, is building memory structures. Because, again, a picture says more than 1,000 words. So you've actually made that point very, very evocatively in that. But the bigger one, and that's where innovation comes in. Typically, whenever you do innovations, now we did another one of our Platinum did this, Bade Hokar Kya Banoge, and that was a fantastic campaign. I think we won a lot of awards last year. I don't know where, or was it this year? But this is about using the AI, using tech, and projecting a 20-year-old saying that when I'm 60, what will I become? And then you project it on a screen, and there's a certain thing which comes with that. So the point is made very poignantly. Those are about memory structures. But I think the one where outdoor really plays is attention. We are in a hugely attention deficit environment, and from a time when maybe TV and print were still very good on attention, digital, the attention problem has sort of expanded n-fold, because it's so many millions of options that you have, and people are there for literally nanoseconds or 3 seconds, 5 seconds, 10 seconds. People are not there for long periods of time. So in this attention deficit world, to have some nice impactful hoarding, especially at the time when you've got some new news, I think that is going to be something which is going to make out of home really, really very valuable. But the one thing, for the love of me, I haven't been able to understand, and I made this point a couple of years back in the same forum in Delhi. It's kind of unfathomable that why, whatever, 5,000-6,000 crores we are right now on and out of home, and you have maybe 4 metros accounting for maybe 60-65% of that entire spend. I mean, why? If you have to look at any of the other local mediums, if I have to look at print, if I have to look at digital, if I have to look at any of the other ones, the amount of marketing and commerce and business that happens outside of these 4 metros, why is the rest of India so under-indexed? Now, that to me is a huge, huge sort of opportunity. But there's, from agency side as well as from the media owner side, I don't think that's been tapped well. Now, that again could be another narrative. But let's wait for it.
Vikram, well said. The 2 aspects connected to this. The first up, of course, is that I think it's a very good takeaway that it is still serving as an impact medium and is coming from Vikram. So that's a very important point. And I think there is something for the industry to work on and actually build that into the narrative for the industry. That's well taken, Vikram. But the other point that you mentioned about that, you know, when 4 of the large metros are actually accounting for the bulk of the OH spends that are happening, there's also the other side that whatever spends are happening, there apparently seems to be a very high percentage of that being a direct business being engaged by the media owners in the smaller towns and cities, which may not be accounted for much in the agency estimates of what business is happening. This is a point of view. So my question to you is that are agencies adequately invested to actually explore those non-metro markets down to the semi-urban and rural markets as well?
So this is now opening up. It's a good point you're raising, and it segues into the entire measurement game. Currently, ADEX, if I'm not mistaken, I think them 31 or 40 markets, some number of markets, that's how we get it. And even out of those 31 or 40 markets, whatever it might be, we're only seeing where the business is coming from 4. Chances are all the others that we are talking, all the towns and cities below that, of course there would be a lot more. But my sense is it will not, if even the top 40 markets is the balance 27 or so less, the other smaller cities are not going to add that much more. Now, to that point, what are we doing on the measurement front? Again, a question came to the last speaker about qualitative calls. And yeah, I think qualitative is calls. You should use your judgment. You can't use data as a crutch. But you can definitely need data to aid judgment. At this point in time, I just don't know of the kind of, look, about, with the Outdoor Association, for about 2 years, 3 years, we've been trying to champion Roadstar. And we said that's a good third-party industry currency which can actually measure both impressions, reach, all of that. I think it's been slow in acceptance and slow in actually rolling out. If that had been actually, and look, also on the same point, if I have to look at any other medium, TV, digital of course is 100%, but TV 85% of, or 86%, 87% is paid for by media owners. Print about 90% is paid for by media owners. Here, whatever little is happening is only people paying for it is probably a few agencies. That also not all, but just a few. So you not know, I mean, from a media owner standpoint, hum aapke hain kaun, you guys you don't believe in data, you're not investing in it. You're not actually going and putting, give it oxygen, yeah? Tell people, okay, now Roadstar is working in a few markets. First understand it, is it helping you sell? Look, for example, does it make sense always to have a cluster of hoardings on one Western Express highway? Yes, in some cases it may, but for people actually just wanting reach, it's saturation. I'd rather place my hoardings across the city and maximize reach better, maybe cheaper also. Everybody is saying impact, 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 and now what it does for reach and frequency, nobody knows. Very simple question. But answers are also possible. Nobody's embracing it.
Well, an important point. Well, as an outsider, as a person who has been observing this particular industry, and when it comes to the adoption of a common currency, there would be reservations coming from maybe the smaller players that if I were to invest in something like this, what's the net advantage that I would have in my business? Now, Vikram, from where you're coming from, and you strongly advocate the adoption of audience metrics, a common currency for Indian OH. Could you tell us that if that were to happen, a wider adoption of the common currency, how much of an uptick we can expect when it comes to brand spends?
Look, I can't give you a number that it'll go up, it'll double or something like that, but it can double also. So, it's again coming down onto the narrative where you come back and say, the beauty of the smaller towns is going to be that given the current dynamics of demand and supply, you can actually get reach at a very efficient price as compared to other local mediums. Nobody knows that. If you actually, I'll tell you another unmeasured medium which we are actually using now pretty effectively on the back of measurement, cinema. Mm-hmm. And mind you, cinema has faced, after this entire OTT stuff and post the pandemic, entire OTT happened, and as a result, average occupancies went from mid-40s to mid-20s, and that also in the HSM markets is probably lesser. South is still okay. But the ability to actually come back with audiences and saying that halls are now getting so many, and I'm willing to do deals where I'm giving you cost per contact of whatever it is, and this is what I can reach for you, that is actually a story. It's also being able to tell you I can give you a reach number on all of this, and at least we've been able to go to clients, and the ones who actually don't only use their judgment or instinct, they've actually gone and done it. So we've been able to grow our cinema by maybe 15-20%. Now, on the back of, this is in a very, very manda market where people are saying people don't go into halls. So I have no doubt if you have the data, if you use it intelligently, you can unlock doors. If you're asking me for a number, okay, just so that I want you guys to adopt it, it'll double your business.
Fantastic. Double your business.
Come back to me in 3 years and prove me wrong.
Vikram, I would just want to quickly come back to this narrative part. The narrative that can come from a particular media stream invariably comes from some of the larger players in that particular industry because they are able to articulate and drive that narrative and it cuts through. When it comes to OH, it's a highly fragmented industry. So how do you think that narrative is going to come through?
I think you should have had a media owner on the panel instead
No,
of
from
me.
the outside.
But from
because,
this is a
and
real
what is
issue,
your common
right?
experience of how you've seen these narratives being framed and evangelized?
So firstly, I think even in a very fragmented media owner market, there are at least maybe a dozen, maybe up to 15, 20 leaders in this market amongst all of you who actually have a very, very strong voice in the entire industry. I don't think it has been heard enough. I think if all of you get together under the aegis of the IOAA, I think you've got a great forum going. I think you should, that's something that can be discussed there. I think IAMAI is trying some of that because that's equally fragmented. And there are, of course, a few big boys out there. Now, but how to manage that? They're still at least having some conversations and moving something forward, including measurements and stuff like that. But if some of you get together and you're the voice, look, in 3 years of I, there are thousands of agencies, there are about 120 odd, which may be members of 3 years of I, but there is a certain board, which there's a bunch of small and large agencies there, but I would say it's probably indexed to the large agencies. We sit down, meet, and try to see what's better for the industry and probably come out with some agendas. I think that's the only way I can think. Use the association better and the people who have a voice, use that voice.
Great suggestion indeed. Vikram, a little away from this particular subject, but still on the subject of brands. Every business is governed by certain very strong case studies. Cases are there which can be illustrated to show how something works. In the case of OH, there are brands like Apple, Samsung, Netflix, all of these people who have done some amazing presence they have on the OH, and they do seem to be believing in OH a big deal in a big way. From your own experience, do you think there's a way to actually leverage very strong use cases to actually demonstrate what this medium delivers to brands?
Look, if we have to go by traditional research-based tracks or surveys, you do a campaign and you come back and say source of awareness and expect outdoor to show up. I think it's a wrong question. The human brain is wired that you say, I saw the ad on TV or video. You won't say that I saw an ad on outdoor even though you did, and even though that made an impact on you. The part to answer the effectiveness one goes back to your very first question, which is about the embracing digital data tech. At this point in time, whatever DOH is there, no data is being harnessed. If you are in fact picking up data of any kind and you're being able to sort of harness it back through the entire data chain, the DSPs, SSPs, whatever data, and maybe integrate that with Roadstar and stuff like that, you could be in a situation where with all the AI-based market mix modeling tools, Meta's got something called Robin, Google has got something called Meridian. Now these tools are taking data streams and then they keep on, okay, now Google has a product called Performance Max, Perf Max. So they take only across all the Google inventory and say, if you do all of this, which is likely to give you better results. They also have something called ADH. ADH goes outside of Google inventory and picks up things like TV ads. It could also pick up arguably the outdoor piece. Those kind of things, if you feed in the data, you'll get the diagnostics. But that requires then, now we're talking brain surgery, PhD, all that kind of stuff here. But then it requires, because currently, we are not even moving the digital game into into an organized thing. Each person who has his own DOH screen is actually selling it directly.
All right. My final question, because we're almost out of time, is that you did allude to the fact that OH is growing, and at the same time, in this hyper competitive media landscape, and we are also seeing a lot of consolidation and other things, and margin squeeze is something that is taken cognizance of across the globe. In that kind of an environment where OH is looking to be like a bright star on the horizon, how do you see the role of specialist agencies in the overall media agency? Are they lending greater heft to their overall business?
Sorry, I didn't quite
No.
catch the question.
You
You're
know,
saying the
is
role
it-
of specialist outdoor
Especially,
agencies?
yes, yeah. Within the overall media agency, is there greater weightage on how they?
No, I mean, in Madison itself, we've got two pure play outdoor agencies and we've got a whole lot of activation. And I think currently they are the growth engines of Madison. So this specialist unit, or if you want to call it unit or whatever, is definitely running on basically on good, huge engines, yeah. So it definitely works, absolutely works. And I think increasingly, if you're able to integrate it into the larger planning system, I think you'll find more and more role of outdoor in the media plans. This can be a crib because a lot of the guys who are the media planners, they don't maybe automatically think of outdoor. So it requires a little bit of collaboration, more cross-pollination. It needs somebody to understand the full, how a consumer is going through its regular journey, if that's what it's called, and see what the role of outdoor is. If people can think agnostically like that, the role of outdoor will increase. So in a nutshell, outdoor specialist agencies definitely work, and if they collaborate more with the agencies, main or otherwise full integrated planning setup, you'll get even better.
Thank you so much, Vikram. Great insights, great thoughts, great takeaways for the industry. We really value your presence here and your thoughts. Thank you so much, Vikram.
The
I think we
pleasure's
will have the
mine.
Q&A.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. We've got some questions, and to share with us the 3 questions that he's chosen from the many that have come in, please welcome on stage from Ninja Media Creations, Mr. Ranjit Chakat. Welcome, sir. Welcome, good evening. Thank you so much. I know it's a tough thing to go through all those questions and down to 3 at the end. Welcome. 94 questions, all right. And
hello, yeah. Good evening, everybody. So it's a tough job to kind of choose. I could not listen. My time went only reading the questions. So I've got 3 questions. One is from Mr. Alok Graphic Arts. Okay. What should the industry do to train more people on OOH, and how should we make it more sexy to motivate newcomers to join?
repeat the question, how do you train more
How-
OH people or DOH?
No. What should the industry do to train more people on OOH, and how should we make it more sexy to motivate newcomers to join? That is one. Second question. Can I ask?
Should we do one by one, otherwise?
Yeah.
Okay. Vikram, you could answer the first question.
Yeah.
First. It's about talent. Yeah.
Okay, good question. Context is that these days, forget OH, just about anywhere in the agency or even marketing world, it's very difficult to attract talent. I think in this particular case, what I love about OH is it's probably one of the most creative as well as commercial kind of, it's a combination of creative and commercial, because the amount that your landscape is the entire ambient world, and within that you have to find solutions to build the brand. If you view it as site selling, it's not going to be very sexy. But if you say that this is going to be something which is all about trying to build brands in the ambient space, then it becomes a whole lot better. And there's a There's tons of creativity out there, and there's tons of commercial piece out there. So I think it can actually make for a very rich career. So if that's possibly one way to attract people, give them the pole star of how you're actually changing a brand. And actually, you see all the stalwarts, they've actually, they've shown how outdoor can be such a powerful force. So I think get the top guys out here to evangelize, because they've already done a fantastic job.
So I'll go with the second question. This is from Mr. Sahil Gambhir, WPP Media. With AI coming in, what do you think this will dynamically change the industry in a year?
Yes, AI will change everything. So, but what's the question again? How?
With AI coming in, what do you think will this dynamically change the industry in a year?
Okay, the few things that AI is going to actually bring, the big changes it's going to do is, in no particular order, first thing it's going to do is be able to serve ads dynamically. So currently, depending on time of day, depending on which is the kind of audience likely to be going there, take a mall, for example. Within a mall, when are the kids coming in and what's the ads you want to play there versus when are the housewife coming in and what are the kind of ads you want to play there. A lot of these kind of things is not going to be possible when a media owner on his own is playing a loop versus when you're doing it using AI. You can do dynamic creative optimization, as it's called. So that is one clear advantage that AI is going to bring. The other aspects of AI is going to help you optimize also. Okay, optimize meaning over time, if you get this entire measurement piece, then you put some AI models on top of that, it can at any point in time tell you if I have to reach people, how do I do it better? Third is like we were talking about all those ADH and all these other kind of tools. These are all AI-based tools which actually learn from whatever you've done in the past to say, if I used outdoor right now, what do I do for my business? So I'd say, then there's also targeting. So targeting, entire optimization of your plan, creative optimization, and the final results. AI is going to dramatically change all of these.
Fine, sir. So there is one more last question. This is from Mr. Kishore Kannan, ad in advertising. In an era data driven by data, integration and ROI, has OOH become just a line item in the media plan, or does it still hold a place in the strategic value in agency thinking?
Say that again, please.
In an era driven by data, integration and ROI, has OOH become just a line item in the media plan, or does it still hold a place in the strategic value in agency thinking?
No, obviously it's much more than line item, because with data, ROI and integration, if that's three things we talked about, by the very nature of the beast, look, people are now talking full funnel, they're talking consumer journey, and each media touch point has a certain role to play. So obviously in the integrated game, what is the role of outdoor takes on, it's a pretty profound thing. At times, you can make in your story that you need to have 15% of your budget going into your outdoor as compared to maybe 2 that was there in the last campaign. So it's linked with everything else. So it's linked to the larger story. What I understand from a line item is, this is your TV plan, this is your print plan, this is your radio plan, and by the way, this is your outdoor plan. So you just come and just add an outdoor plan at the end of it. No, I don't think. I think people are, if you're talking multimedia, it might be a line item, but if you're talking integrated, then it's a much deeper strategic picture.
Vikram,
Of the three, let's give the question which talked about AI the first prize.
Okay.
Thank you.
You have to announce the person who has won.
And now, which one is the lucky question?
Yeah, the one about the AI.
The one with the AI, the one, and the name of the person?
Mr. Sahil Gambhir.
Congratulations, come on up here. 10,000 rupees awaits you, congratulations. Congratulations, a huge round of applause. There is one more opportunity to walk away with 10,000 rupees, so everybody put your hands together. Congratulations. we're going to request Mr. Ranjit to kindly present a memento. Thank you. We'd like to thank our presenters. We've got a memento. Ladies and gentlemen, please put your hands together for Mr. Vikram Sakhuja. Thank you so much, Group CEO, Madison Media. Thank you for joining us.